And then after the next 6 months, he had closed 80,000 in GCI from 8 transactions. And so, Andres, where's our girl? Where's Sarah?
Waiting on her. She said she'll be here. It's a bit, but no, to tag along with what you said, Sean. Last week I was in a small networking team here in Huntsville, and some of the agents were mentioning, how they haven't succeeded or closed enough deals that they would, be looking at or expected to close this year. And I told them exactly, to join our Wednesday meeting because exactly that here in our market with working Joshua, Sarah, Jordan, Sarah, Runyons as well that are closing multiple deals in our market, and it's happening in other markets as well where we've seen agents that are not at the production that they're looking at that they wanted to, but there's business to be had. It's just getting the right activities done, getting in front of them.
Yeah. And the reason why I wanted to invite Sarah Jordan specifically was because back in the day, we used to actually advertise to not follow up with your leads until we specifically talked to them. That used to be something that we would preach on over and over again until we interviewed some of our agents recently who are in the same market, getting the same leads and getting completely different outcomes. And so when we were investigating these agents who were newer, had less skills, and had a lower budget but were closing more, we asked them, "What are you guys doing differently that our other agents are not doing?" And the number one thing that they kept saying, do you guys remember, Andres? Heather? Do you remember what the number one thing that was a pattern?
They were calling all the leads and they were following up with everybody in the account and updating their pipeline.
Instead of working with us in an exclusive capacity where only the people that they talk to are the people that we personally vetted, that process works. We know that process works. But when we're looking at the accounts that are closing, having a 5% conversion rate compared to the average 2 or 3% conversion rate, or a 7% conversion rate, it's because they were following up with every single lead that came inside of their pipeline. And this comes up often. Well, we hired you guys to follow up with the leads. We hired you guys to vet the leads, and I would absolutely agree with that. Where we see a massive difference in the results is when we work in collaboration together. And when I talk about collaboration, I'm not just saying we're going to put all of the follow up on you, because we have the C and D categories to hold ourselves accountable to the leads that we send. And for those who don't know what the C and D categories are, I just saw a couple new faces come in here. The C and D, ghost recovery and no-show recovery. The reason why we have those columns in there is because we know that when we live call transfer a lead, you're going to get the lead, and then life's going to happen, and then there's going to, for some crazy reason, they're going to ghost you. And we support you in following up with that person, but we've seen where a dramatic increase in results, and when I say dramatic, I'm talking about like a 2x or a 3x from what our expected results are. It's because they, instead of letting us do all the follow-up, they worked in collaboration with us doing the follow-up. So,
it's like Diana said last week. It's a true partnership in order to maximize what she's getting out of the partnership here, not just a tool that she's using to grow her business. It's a true partnership in the way we work and collaborate. Let me give Sarah a call and make sure that she's coming up because she is doing agent things.
Okay. While you're calling her, another thing that I picked up on last Wednesday when we interviewed Christine Boyette was also doing the exact same thing. She was not letting the leads just sit there, wait for the AI or the appointment setter to make contact with the lead. She was in collaboration. If she saw that the ISA called yesterday, she was going to call today. And to piggyback off of what Andres mentioned, the partnership aspect of this is we're not a service, and we turn a lot of agents down who look at us as a service. We don't want to operate in a vendorship or a service capacity. We want to actually partner. Hey Dan, good to see you. We want to actually partner with you because when we make you better, that drives results. And the conversation that we had with Joshua Wheelock, where he didn't close anything for the first 6 months, I promise you it wasn't the leads. Promise. And the reason why I say it wasn't the leads, because we had the conversation where he said, hey, the leads aren't serious. They're just, I think we should do something with the ads, et cetera, et cetera. And then I played a call that was a buy and a sell. And the person was having to sell their property because they wanted to be closer to their dying parents, which is I've listened to thousands of these calls, and that's a very common reason for someone to sell their property. And on that call, he's literally he's like, oh my gosh, I'm talking way too damn much. I talk way too damn much. And from that point on, and I didn't coach him on anything. He did this completely on his own. And he'll tell you, if you guys watched the recording for a few weeks back, he'll tell you that it was him. And him shifting just that dynamic, and he already had a sales background. So for me to be able to, reinforce, hey buddy, you talk too much. You should listen a little bit more. He instantly took that feedback and applied it. And the next time that he had an opportunity that was actually ready, he closed it. And he closed multiple of them. And there's a saying, I forget who says it. There's no such thing as a missed opportunity. It just went to someone else. And so when I hear, things like the leads are bad or this person wasn't serious, but then I look them up on RPR or the MLS and I find that they ended up transacting with another agent. Does that mean that the person wasn't serious to you? And so what's working Wednesdays, and that's what Sarah Jordan is supposed to be here for. She's running
I
late.
reached out, didn't answer, so I just called my plan B. I have Aaron Rose. He's going to join me here. I always have a backup on the back end.
Okay.
I was having him show him coming in next week, but I just gave him a call and he's out and about, going for a walk. And I said, hey, it's all about you. So.
Right on. Hey, Aaron, good to see you.
Hey, Sean, how's it going, brother?
Man, better than I deserve. Hey, this is Andres' show. I'm going to let him have it, but thank you for being here. My promise every time for anyone who's watching this is that you're going to know more than you came into the call with, and you're going to know exactly how to apply it into your business that same day. So, thank you, Aaron, for being here.
Well, I hope I can fulfill that promise for you, Sean. I'm not prepared here, so.
Hey, that's the beauty of it, Aaron. I appreciate you last second really just showing up. I know we talk about coming over next week, but things happen, right?
You're coming in blurry, man. You got the background clear, and you're all blurry. I like that. That's fun.
Let me adjust that on my end. But listen, this is what's working Wednesday, where we really want to drive into what's, why you're having success, things that have happened since before you started working with Cloud Realty, how you handle working with Cloud Realty, but mainly about your business. I know you and I spoke briefly yesterday, and things started happening since you started working with us at a much higher capacity. So I want to put you in the spot and hear about it, and dive into some of those little details and questions. I know you have no idea what I'm going to ask you, but let's make it happen.
All right, hold on. I got to get a lay of the room here. How many people we got? Who are we talking to here today, boys? We got Jesse, Dan, Matt, Sean,
We
Mark,
have
Ayla, James, Heather.
we have a number of agents that are actively with us, newer agents that are looking to be part of Cloud Realty, but we also recording this and live streaming this on our social media. So I'll forward the recording to you as well afterwards.
All right, sounds good. Well, shoot, man. What are we doing?
Just wanted to dive in before you started working with us, you know. How was your business looking before coming over to Cloud Realty?
All right, well, I had a bumpy start in the industry. I spent a year with Century 21 with the kind of a knowledge I was coming to EXP. And after that, I spent a bit of time with a little boutique brokerage. It was like a 90-10, nothing, just do your thing and stay compliant. And then I switched over to EXP with Jeff, and Jeff started talking to Sean. He's like, hey, there's this company, and they seem pretty cool, and this kid knows what he's doing. He's legit. He's young, but he's hot, and you got to talk to him. So I was like, okay, let's see what's up. And it was obvious from the start that Sean is a machine building machine. Yeah, see?
What do you mean by that, machine building machine?
Because he's just so turned on all the time, and he is always putting together process flows and then tweaking them and implementing them and then retweaking them and re-implementing them. And in order to stay at the edge of any industry's growth, I think that's the necessity of especially an industry like this where marketing is changing so fast all the time. So I think that was what originally drew me in, was just Sean's, well, probably not just that. I mean, Sean's a great listener, and he just has great coaching skills and has got a great team to keep training us and always pushing us to step outside of our comfort zones, whether or not it be begrudgingly. But I think it's definitely changed. Like the things that I've implemented with Cloud is using the Go High Level, getting a bunch of leads. I'm in a really slow market out here, but I went from like 2 or 3 listings. Now I'm at about 14. I think I got 4 more listings coming on the market right now. I mean, everybody's piled up in listings, so like I probably have 20 listings by the end of the week. You know, all I got to do now is figure out how to get them to sell and get my clients to recognize that we're in 2025 and not 2022 anymore.
What have you started doing differently since you started falling into the coaching, to the systems available to you?
Well, I think a lot of it has seeped in just through coming on a lot of the calls and following up with more leads and having regular conversations with people that are in one place. So just adhering to the follow-up it's always a challenge, right? Because you get busy and you got like 5 people calling me down and I'm still like, okay, I want my pipeline to get empty. But I think that word pipeline came into a lot of focus when I started talking with you guys. Like Cloud's pipeline is somewhat hard to define. I got my Google My Business going and started getting all the Google reviews. I'm up to about 30. I'm on my way to 100 right now. I got like 5 more 5-star reviews coming from deals that I'm closing this week. And I think really it's just setting the bar in one way. So you guys really do set a high bar, and I feel absolutely attracted to anything that's going to push me like that. Say if you're going to come into Cloud, buckle up and hold on tight, because this ain't for the faint of heart. This is for people that really want to get started and put in a system that's going to continuously grow and change. And so I'm like, the other thing I would warn people about who are coming into Cloud is if you want this to be the same tomorrow as it is today, guess what? It's going to be better. So you better be ready to learn, because that's what I've seen so far, and I'm looking forward to more of that. So,
would you say there was a moment that made you think, okay, something's got to change in my business, and once you started plugging in Cloud and the system, was there a moment there as well that you say, okay, this is working the way I thought it was, or better, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely like right out of the gate, you know, I think is when we had our biggest, you know, splurge of just probably over 100 leads coming in organically off the Facebook, social media. And, you know, it's sometimes, if I was going to tighten things up for you, I'd say make sure you guys track more of the leads that come in. But I guess that's part of the beauty, is that you guys really do have a way of filling the cup to the brim, which can become hard to account for when you're doing it all on my own platform, right? And not taking credit for that, I think, was a huge value add for me when I was considering it. And it's definitely paid off in ways I can't even account for. Because it's like, how do I tell you, oh yeah, I got another from my Google My Business when someone calls me up out of the blue, right? And they're not, always, I don't even always bother to ask people where they come from, which is probably just because I'm so lazy. But
that's the goal. It's to get you more business aside from everything we're doing with the marketing. And just so I can circle back, let's say when you get a live transfer, because I see some opportunity being missed by some agents, some other agents do great. On your end, how do you handle a live transfer? How do you adjust those opportunities coming your way?
so, I always have my phone. I'm always by my phone. If you call me and I'm free and I can talk, I will. And when I get a live transfer, a new transfer, the nice thing is that it's already been pre-qualified. I don't have to call through the hundreds of junk internet leads that anybody who advertises on the internet is going to be completely familiar with the taste of, no, I was just browsing. So I guess the difference is by that point, when it's a live transfer, or oftentimes I'm out of cell range, so I'll just get his text, and then as soon as I get my cell service back, I'll just call the number and have a conversation and see where it goes, right? And mostly my goal on that call is just to get to know you, let you know where I'm at, see where you're looking, just kind of have a conversation, try to take it a little bit off topic to something that's more of a personal nature than a business nature, because I found that old adage of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care is really the first step in building any relationship. So I try to make that first conversation kind of a combination of inquiry from a consultation and befriending through the heart.
Nice.
So,
and curious to have one of those conversations on tomorrow's channel where we dive into the calls. Just to show some of the agents, we review those calls, and we have come across a wide range of conversations. We get to put one of those in there as well.
Yeah, I think the other thing that happened right about the exact time I was joining Cloud was I was getting my first coach, which was just like, I think she's in the Tom Ferry or some school, kind of a very hard sell, kind of the opposite. And I was looking at like a bunch of different coaches, and that was just one that came through our network that seemed like a good one. And they are, because I've been combining that, and there's a lot of cross-pollination, which is kind of hearing the same thing and going, yeah, okay, I've heard that now from 5 different people on YouTube, here live and there, and then I'm hearing live case studies. So skinning your knee in this industry, I'd say, is like, if you want to be a skateboarder, get your knee pads, and if you want to be a realtor, get your tongue pads or your heart pads or whatever it is, because those are going to get scraped up. You're going to get your butt handed to you, and then you're going to learn, oh, I needed to shift my weight on that one into this area. And so a lot of the scripts and everything that you guys provide have been really valuable for me, especially when we're talking about the NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming, and breaking down of, it's funny now, like all the acronyms, I'm like, set a date from a date. I did a little video in my tree with my Chinese date, and I got a little date in the ground that came off of my date. So I've actually taken your training and I've applied it passively to my garden and then filmed it on Instagram. I'm like, let's set a date for destiny, guys. It's one of my Instagram videos. Hold on. No, I'm fed. I'm actually sitting right now at a client's house who I've known for a while, and I'm financing my first deal. And I have to say, I'm kind of thrilled that you're calling me right now, because this is probably the pinnacle so far. Not that it's the final pinnacle of my career, but my friends have been trying to figure out this place for a few years. They were caretakers, took care of this guy who passed away, and the kid got the property and tried to evict them. And they finally called me up, and I was going to buy it and sell it back to them for double. And finally, my wife had a dream and said, "We're just financing this deal." So now I'm actually not even in the deal, and I'm just closing right now. Actually, when you called me, they were signing the papers, and their 2 kids and them have been able to stay in their home, and I'm carrying my first seller financing note. And I mean, I've known these kids for years, and they're like homesteaders. They raise cows, they raise goats, and they do milk and eggs, and they make pigs. They give me some pork ribs and all of that stuff. So I'm living with these guys, and they're like really good community members. And just being so busy and knowing what I was doing, he's like, "Yeah, help me out." And I was like, "Okay, that's how we do it." And so it took us a few smacks at it and a few whacks at it, but it's probably the biggest win I've had, even though it's not necessarily the best financial gain. I get to look back and say, "Hey, I saved these guys from being evicted and being homeless, and I get paid for the privilege." You know, I make like probably 3x my money over 12 years because I set the rate real low and long for them so they could afford it. I'm like, you know, so those are the things that I think are kind of the American Express commercial stuff. You know, the stuff you can't buy with the career. But back to cloud, I think it's just about having the community, right? Coach Russ, Sean, when you can catch him, if you can ever catch up with him off one of these calls because he's getting so busy now, which is like both inspiring and maddening.
That's how it is. And I wanted to ask you for what are some habits and routines that you set out through the system, through the team, that have helped you, stay on top of your business?
I think the number one thing is just having conversations every day. Like it's not even part of my scheduled routine anymore because my days are now so packed. Chasing down deals, buyers, sellers, showings. Like I'm recruiting. Actually, Andres just got me my first We're working on bringing in my first co-sponsored agent into EXP. And so that's like not even where I'm going to be able to support her on the ground. I'm working on some other marketing things right now with some book publishing and some other things. But I just say the habit has just been putting it in my blood that if I'm not having conversations about real estate, I'm not doing my job. And so pretty much now it's like real estate is on the tip of my tongue. I'm making calls if I'm not talking to people face to face. And so I think just keeping those conversations happening is really the X factor in any career, right? How many conversations are taking place around real estate needs, interests, wants, and then how much does the person on the other end of the line feel like you care and can do what you say you can do? So all of those things I think have increased in the gym of Cloud's ephemeral presence, which honestly, it's the hardest thing to track. Like, I wish I could say exactly how much you guys have done for me, and I can't. And that's like, it's so frustrating. I like to track things. I like spreadsheets. I went to business school, you know? I'm like, what is these guys doing for me? How do I even know anymore?
Well, that's the beauty of it. You keep growing, you keep being successful, and we're here to support you and help you grow. What advice would you give, just to wrap it up, what advice would you give any agents that are looking into potentially joining Cloud Realty?
If you sign up with me, I'll get you a discount. No, honestly though, I'd say do it. You know, you got to try it. You can't really judge any books anymore until you've read them and tried them. And this is a book that just keeps writing itself. So it's kind of like, if you want to be a part of a narrative that is on a very fast upswing, that is going to continue to morph and change with the industry. And even when things seem like they're at their darkest, these guys are going to show up and drag you out of the hole, or, you know, somehow magically when you're standing on your mountaintop, they're going to find you and interview you live without prep. So do it. That's where we're at right now, okay?
Hey, but I got to give you props. You picked up the phone, right?
Hey, you know, that's actually like 90% of the job.
Exactly. That's how it is. You gotta pick up the phone when the money rings.
And you know
I
what?
appreciate you, man.
Just to say this, like for everybody to hear, Andre Castro's number is the money phone. Okay, so pick it up. And pick it up when he calls.
I appreciate that, man, because we've been working together for some time now, and I'm happy to see how much uh, you have grown your business, how much you are staying active now, and it's happy to see that.
I'm still trying to grab up onto your coattails, Andres, and I appreciate you lowering one.
Let's go.
I'm trying to grab it, man. I'm flying to Denver tonight. I'm going to get into some other crazy business with smoothie powder, and we're just going to keep rolling. All these guys need to buy and sell houses too, so I'm going to be passing out thousands of business cards this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, before we wrapped it up, I wanted to ask the audience, the agents that are on board, if they had any questions that they wanted to ask you directly, because it's been great chatting with you, and man, I appreciate you picking up the phone. I know it was last minute, but it's always a beauty when we can have this type of conversation. This is what it's all about. I enjoy having moments like this, unprepared, just authentic, right?
Yeah, happy to take it. Although I'm sure these guys are already way ahead of me, so they probably don't have no questions.
You get the pride.
This is Kayla. I have a question. You said when you're having real estate conversations every day, and if you're not, then I don't know, you made some kind of negative comment about that. So I'm curious, when you say real estate conversations, are you talking about through social media, through email, or verbally? And if it's verbally, is it just sphere, past clients, leads? And how would you quantify how much time you're doing that?
So I have 3 kids. I carted them around to school, soccer practice, ballet, picking pine nuts and crunching them. So in between whatever it is I'm doing, I got my CRM on my phone. I'll be talking while I'm driving. I'll be getting calls. Actually, I remember one time I was driving to a expo for EXP, and I got 3 leads from you guys. And I'm talking to like 2 of them or 3 of them, and we're like making deals while I'm driving to San Francisco for this thing. So all of the above, and if you can think of more, then yes, but at the pace that you can handle, because ultimately the tap is not limitless, but in terms of one agent's capacity, it's functionally limitless. As you build a team of like 1 million agents, then you might be able to channel that a little bit better, but for you, it's like, how big is my time commitment to this industry, and then just making that this got to get to thing, do you have to do this, or do you get to do this? Is this your fun, or is this your torture? If you enjoy it, then it turns into just okay, I don't have anything to do. Why don't I call? I haven't talked to so-and-so for a while. See how they're doing, right? And you're not even really making a sales call. What you're really after is just having good conversations with people where you're building in the factor that you care. And if real estate creeps in there somehow, that's awesome. And it usually does, because people know that you're a realtor after a while, and your name is out there and everything's going out, right? So there's all the other little things you can do, like sending out super nice listing packages, going after FISBOs, cold calling, and all of that still works. It's all great, right? Open houses, whatever. It's like any way you can imagine having conversations. And I would say the best is through media that is evergreen, books, videos, things that can stay out forever. But the second one, that when it makes the deal happen, is when you come off the page and you're a real person, and people think you might be all stuck up because you're getting somewhere, and you're not, because you still care. So I don't know. It doesn't matter how you have the conversations. It just matters that you have the conversations, that you care, and that you continue to do your, continued education as you see fit. So I'm trying to tap into different industries and create pillars now with some books and some different kind of themes, but I don't know if that answers your question.
Golden nugget right there. Just having a conversation. It doesn't have to be about real estate. You're building a relationship. You're making a connection.
So right now I'm making another connection with the publishing office. I'm seriously going to be in their rev share affiliate program, and I'll have more information for you guys when you actually let me prepare. But I have an education company that's kind of been on ice since COVID, and I'm looking at opening up the publishing side of that with Maven Learning and a series of industry-specific, niche-specific, agent-specific, broker-specific, professional industry-specific books. So I'll have a lot to share with you guys at the next one, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll have you on the podcast to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
And
that
be
one.
more prepared on that.
Yeah, you know what? I need your crib notes on the back end for the production for my deal, because I'm trying to get my podcast started too. So.
Nice. Any other questions from anyone? Got to take advantage of Aaron last minute here. Well, Sean, any questions from you before we wrap it up?
Come on.
No, brother, no questions on my end. Aaron, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story and what's working for you. And the big takeaway that I heard is, having a conversation. Real estate will come up. You're right. They know that you're a realtor. They know that's why you're talking to them to begin with. And just to see a human on the other side of the phone or on the other side of the table, and just to have that connection, have that makes a huge difference with these internet strange leads.
Yeah. Find something that's not real estate to talk about when you're talking about real estate. Douglas Adams said the best way to fly is to throw yourself at the ground and miss. So I would apply that to this industry by saying, throw yourself at your potential clients and do your best to miss the point of real estate as much as you can in order to get the close. Right? Because everything else is all that matters to them. Right? And the price is just such a stupid detail that everybody gets hung up on. But it's the stuff around the price that really matters. It's the people. It's what they need and what you can do for them. That's it.
Right. That's a great way to end it.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for a call review Thursday. So bring your live call transfers to review. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks again, Aaron.
John, thanks, Andres. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.